Hey everybody, this is Super Ninja Austin back here in this back-to-back episode, which is my 71st episode of the SNA podcast, and this is the AEW Rampage review part 9. Let's begin, and it starts off with the three former members of the JAS, and it is Daniel Garcia, Angelo Parker, and Matt Menard taking on the Hardy Boys and Brother Zay. But this is where it starts off with Brother Zay himself, Isaiah Cassidy, and Daniel Garcia with the dance. And I was like, well, I hope they're not going to do their custom pelvis dance like they would do, which they did a little bit of. But we're going to talk about that in just a moment here. But we came here to talk about AEW Dynamite, which was pre-taped in Cable Dama Arena, which was this past Wednesday on Dynamite, or not Wednesday, Tuesday on Dynamite, Title Tuesday. Afterwards, this is where Brother Zay started twisting his arm, flipping him over, looking like a AEW light-skinned version of Montez Ford. This is where Daniel Garcia was like, okay, like I'm ready now. Like I wasn't ready, like now I am. Like this is where he started grappling with Brother Zay, Isaiah Cassidy. This is where he gets the advantage. He spin around, go into a back gut inspection kind of amateur style maneuver. This is where Daniel Garcia counters, goes behind him, go for a back move. This is where Isaiah Cassidy got him back. This is where he started going back for each other, and this is where Daniel Garcia slams him into a technical style slam. This is where he starts spinning him around, slapped him upside the head, double top, and started kicking dust into his face. And this is where Daniel Garcia started doing this dance, looking like trying to do his usual dance that he made famous, that the Arizona Cardinals was doing, and going viral all over the internet. This is where Matt Menard's like, hey, like enough of that dance, I cannot stand it. And this is where Jake Hager was like, and he was agreeing with Matt Menard. He was like, yeah, what are you doing, Daniel Garcia? Get your head back into this match. And this is where Isaiah Cassidy grabs him by his neck, hits the headlock hitting the headlock. This is where he tried to Irish whip him face first right into the bottom left corner of the end of the turnbuckle. He flipped right over the turnbuckle, and this is where Daniel Garcia ran right to it. And then this is where Isaiah Cassidy runs right into the ropes, hits a flying arm drag like 7 feet in the air. This is where he hits a back swinging drop kick. This is where let's see right here. This is where he tags in Jeff Hardy, hits an extreme crossbody right onto the ground. Or should I say an extreme splash, I should say. This is where Matt Hardy twists Daniel Garcia's arm. This is where Irish whipped him and hits him face first right onto the top rope. This is where Isaiah Cassidy was like, this is where he tags Isaiah Cassidy back in the match. He's like, you want to see Isaiah Cassidy kick his ass? And then he started punching Daniel Garcia with his left hand, I believe, or right hand. Like 1, 2, right off the top rope, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, before it's 7, this is where he gets a flapjack because Daniel Garcia counters and hit him face first right at the end of the turnbuckle. I think Angelo Parker distracted him, saying like, "You suck, Zay." And then this is where Daniel Garcia hits a striking back forearm, I should say, right onto him. This is where Daniel Garcia picks him up, Irish whip him right to his corner. This is where he tags in Matt Menard, stomp on him. This is where Daddy Magic comes in and start ramming his elbow right onto Brother Zay's midsection, tagging in Cool Hand Angelo Parker into the process. This is where he starts ramming him like 5 times in a row. This is where Cool Hand Ange hits a striking right into Zay's face. This is where he tags in Matt Menard back in the ring and tags in, and he also tags in Daniel Garcia to do a triple team move. This is where Angelo Parker Irish whips Brother Zay right into the top right corner of the end of the turnbuckle. This is where This is where Matt Menard and Angelo Parker both double Irish whip Daniel Garcia right into to Brother Zay to hit a splash on him. This is where Daddy Magic throws a cool hand edge right onto Isaiah Cassidy with a forearm. This is where he grabs on the Isaiah Cassidy, trips him over. This is where they did their signature double team maneuver, which he trips him over, and this is where Cool Hand Edge stands on his tag partner Matt Menard into like a stepping stool into an elbow drop right onto brother Isaiah Cassidy. This is where Daniel Garcia hurried up and go for a pin, but he only got a 1. He only got a 2, but he kicks out right after 2. This is where Daniel Garcia was hitting right hands right into the midsection. This is where he tags in Matt Menard. This is where he tags in Angelo Parker, which it was a 2.0 double team right on the poor brother Zay. This is where Irish whips him right to the exact same corner. He hits but this is where brother Zay did a turnover maneuver because he caught onto the ropes, hit the springboard stunner right onto Daniel Garcia, did a hot shot right to the ropes, which I believe that probably choked him a bit. This is where Matt Menard tried to go for a spear right into the middle of the turnbuckle. This is where he flips over. This is where he hits a roll. He roll ducks. What's his name? Angelo Parker. This is where he finally tags in Matt Hardy, and then the master of the deletion start hitting hitting the close on to Angelo Parker first, and then second Matt Menard, and then this is where he kicks him right in the midsection. He Irish whips Angelo Parker outside. This is where he starts hitting right hands, swinging him right into the Matt Menard's way, like into the bottom right corner and their corner of Team of the Turnbuckle. This is where a master of deletion started doing it for like 20 times. Jay Hager tried to go for a tag. He nails him with a right hand. And this is where he picks up Angelo Parker into an alley-oop bomb, and then this is where he counted to 1. Aubrey Edwards counted to 1 to count to 2, but he kicks out. This is where he breaks, and this is where Angelo Parker counted and breaks him right now, right to the corner. This is where he tags in Matt Menard, I believe, which was it Daniel Garcia. Either way, it was. Oh, I think it was. Or was it? Yeah, he tagged in Matt Menard. And he was like, you know, I do not like that dance, so don't provoke me with that dance. But either way, he was telling that to Daniel Garcia because he was about to do it like this, do that dance. This is where Matt Hardy came in. He interrupted their argument party. This is where he started hitting right hands to both Daniel Garcia and mostly to Matt Menard. This is where Angelo Parker tried to come in to save his allies and started striking them with right hands right to the back. This is where he started hitting kicks and they started triple team. This is where Brother Zay and Jeff Hardy came in for the save for Brother Matt. This is where they started hitting right hands and throwing and Daniel Garcia and Angelo Parker on the outside. This is where Jake Hager pulls out Matt Menard when Jeff Hardy was hitting him with fist strikes. This is where Jake Hager was like, timeout. I was like, this is pro wrestling. There's no timeout in pro wrestling. You can time out on football, baseball, basketball, even soccer. But wrestling, you cannot time out. Like you have to keep going until there's a finish. Like whether if it's like basic like a basic wrestling match, you only way wins by pinfall submission unless some other tactic will cost the match finish, like what if it being a DQ finish or a count out finish or a count to 10 at a last man standing match or battle royal, like where you throw your opponents over the top rope. Like there's got to be some kind of a finish. Like you can't stop until there's some kind of a finish into a certain particular match stipulation. Like you should know that. Like that's the first thing they teach you. That's the first thing they teach you in wrestling school. But anyways, this is where and then, but yeah, this is what Excalibur pointed out as well. What I just said, like, this is pro wrestling. Like, you can't time out. This is where Matt Hardy tried to bring I believe he tried to bring out what's his name, Matt Menard, or was it Cool Hand Ange? But he got mugged. Oh no, I think it was Daniel Garcia, but Daniel Garcia Irish whipped him right to the barricade. I'm not sure if it was Barry. And anyways, this is where he throws him back in the ring, and then it wasn't Matt Menard, like, because he got out on the other side. This is where he back elbow strike Brother Zay on his corner and Jeff Hardy. This is where he started hitting them with chops. They were probably deadly. I mean, they were probably was silent, but it was deadly. Which Gunther probably added him right into his list of wrestlers he envied that tried to be better at him with the knife edge chop method into this wrestling match. I bet this is where let's see right here. This is where he tags in Angelo Parker, but he soon after Matt Hardy came back into the game. This is where he finally tags in Isaiah Cassidy, which he hits a poetry splash emotion, I should say, right onto Cool Hand Ange. This is where Matt Hardy started doing his delete chants, like delete, 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 and he's asking Brother Zay to bring Angelo Parker right to his way. This is where he tried to go for a twist of fate, which he successfully did so. This is where Jeff Hardy went right on the top rope to hit his finishing move, which was the Swanton Bomb. But Jake Hager snuck when the referee, Aubrey Edwards, wasn't looking, like when she was too distracted with, I believe, was Daniel Garcia, I believe, or no, it was Matt Menard. No, it was Matt Menard that was distracted. And then this is what pissed off Matt Hardy. He hits a sliding kick to Jake Hager for doing that to his brother and costing him from doing the Swanton Bomb. This is where Isaiah Cassidy was like, all right, like if you have me balanced, then I'll do it. When Matt Hardy bent down on his knees for him to be a human footstool, because that's the grandest position into the world of professional wrestling or the grandest support into professional wrestling into a tag team match, because he is where Isaiah Cassidy ran right into the rope. This is where he stepped on Matt Hardy to do a footstool into a cannonball right onto both Jake Hager and Matt Menard, I believe. Yeah. And I think he hurt his back in the process, but luckily not that much to be out for an injury. But yeah, that was very amazingly impressive, to say the least. Well, it's nothing least about that. It was very incredible for him to do a move like that. Like, he's showing that he's AEW's version of Montez Ford. But anyway, this is where Daniel Garcia snuckingly threw Matt Hardy outside the ring, like if it's some kind of a battle royal match and he's trying to get the win. This is where Isaiah Cassidy came back in the match. I was like, well, it's a miracle. Like, he just got back up and he was holding on to his back. Like, even though he's not injured, but I thought he would be down for a few seconds, or a few extra minutes, I should say, not seconds. But this is where Daniel Garcia tried to attack him and try to go for a springboard crossbody, but this is where he got out of the way. This is where Daniel Garcia tried to run up to his corner. This is where he tried to shoulder tackle him, but he ducked and rolled, but he got crashed into Daniel Garcia's arms into a clothesline from hell. This is where Daniel Garcia is like, I don't give a damn what Matt Menard said. I'm doing it. Like, I made this dance famous. I got to do it. And then he started doing the dance. He's like doing the dance with moving his hips and his pelvis. And this is where he picks the. And then he hits him with this flying DDT maneuver, majig, looking like the 1916 Brainbuster Fame Balor used to do, or he still do. This is where he pins Isaiah Cassidy with the 1, 2, 3, and yeah, Team Daniel Garcia and Matt Menard and Angelo Parker are the victors in this 6-man tag match in the opener of Rampage. And this is where Angelo Parker was saying, "Way to go, dude! You definitely put him away. Like, this is why you're the main man into this group. Like, and we don't need." And they're like, "We don't need Jericho," but that's a story for another day. And what do you think about Daniel Garcia and Jake Hager and Matt Menard and Angelo Parker are doing is their own alliance without Chris Jericho? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna. And this is where Daddy Magic was very pissed off at Daniel Garcia. You did that dance and I told you not to. Like, you just disobeyed me. And I was like, dang, like, I know you're called Daddy Magic, but you're not Daniel Garcia's dad. Like, at least not biologically. I was like, but we could look at the records that if that is true, but maybe it is in the world of professional wrestling. If he has the paper to prove it, then anything's believable and possible. Never say never in pro wrestling, like that catchphrase say. But yeah, what do you thought about this match, and what do you think about Matt Menard not liking that odd exotic dance that Daniel Garcia does? That's been rumored that he got it from Britney Spears. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. It looks like we're gonna see some kind of a split up with Matt Menard over Daniel Garcia, but this is where we got Commander in an interview with Renee Paquette from this past Wednesday on Dynamite, but which I believe was his request of facing who was Eddie Kingston? No, not Eddie Kingston. It was no switch. It was because he got interrupted in his interview by the Bullet Club Golds, the Guns, and Juice Robinson, and the title stealing Switchblade, which he's also known as Tofu himself, Jay Switchblade White. But anyway, this is where he's still holding on to the AEW Championship. He's like, Mr. Zito, yeah. That's the Commander. I mean, Penta El Zero Miedo. He was in an interview with Renee Paquette, but got really interrupted by Bullet Club boys. This is where, you got zero fear, and you got zero bang bang belts, just like your brother this past Wednesday when he lost his international championship. And then now have scissor belt size of things of like that's why I like your brothers do so much. He's such a great, cute brother tag team. None of the best. Y'all the best tag teams here. And then he's like my boys right here, the Guns. And he's like, well, the number one thing I like about you and Ray Phoenix is because you have zero belts. And he's like, and then this is where Penta El Zero Mil preached the truth to the title stealing Switchblade, saying the difference between you and my brother Ray is because Ray is my brother won the championship and earned it, and you just stole it. But he said it in Spanish. He was like, you abolaste. And it is where Alex After Hentes translated and said, yeah, Penta said you are a thief for stealing that AEW championship from Maxwell. And everybody was like, oh. And then this is where Juice Robinson took offense to that for his boy Jay. This is where he's like, and that was very highly offensive. And now you need to get the hell out of here, Alex. And this is where Jay was like, hey, I earned everything. Little sparkly, shiny piece of gold on this bang, bang belt. And he's like, and next week, if you want to try to take it from me, and no, you get your moment at the spotlight with the Switchblade. Then when I beat them all, and I beat them you too next. He's You'll be with them too, Penta, and you're gonna breathe with the switchblade, and you're with the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Like, guess what? And Penta's like, you will never face anyone who has the zero miedo. And he showed it right in his face, and he slapped his shoulder with the championship, like, I'll see you next week. Which the guns were sounding like if he just ripped his heart out, because they started gasping for like, it's like, I was like, really? Like, this is AEW, aka Pro Wrestling, not Mortal Kombat. So calm down. Like, you don't have to take this devastation way too seriously. It's not even devastation, but the point is, I'm saying, the point is what I'm saying is not that serious. But anyways, what y'all thought about this, and what you think about Jay White facing Penta next week? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, he's going to keep this up until AEW Full Gear, until MJF wins the title back. And this is a similar story like when they did with Nyla Rose and Jay Cargill, when Jay Cargill was still in AEW as TBS Championship, and then Nyla Rose stole her AEW TBS Championship. I was like, and then coincidentally, it was Jay Cargill got her title back at the exact same pay-per-view that MJF's trying to get his title back at, which is AEW Full Gear, which comes every November, like Survivor Series in WWE. And I hopefully I can watch that pay-per-view, which I'll probably make a review if I ever did watch the pay-per-view of AEW Full Gear pay-per-view. But for now, I'm going to keep reviewing AEW's 3 shows that come on 3 days out of the week. But anyways, let's move on to the next match, which is Trent Beretta taking on Jay Lethal. Let's see right here. As Trent Beretta started off like hitting some strikes right into Jay Lethal. This is where he tried to go for a closer, but Jay Lethal, crossbody, which is known as the most comeback move in all sports entertainment. But this is where he lands his body hard right into the ropes, even though the ropes are not that hard. But bending back like that and bruising a body part is not a beautiful sight. Like, definitely not. This is where he fell right on the outside, holding onto his ribs, because he hit his ribs hard right into the rope when Jay Lethal dug right on time, no selling, possibly learning from the reigning defending Ring of Honor TV champion. And also, speaking of the Samoan Submission Machine, it's been announced that he's going to defend that TV championship tomorrow night at AEW Collision. Make sure y'all check that out. I'm sure we're going to check that out as well. And I'm going to review it on my 72nd episode of the SNA podcast. Make sure you check that out. But back to this podcast episode with AEW Collision. This is where Chuck Taylor made sure Jay Lethal's boys, Sanjay Dutt and Jeff Jarrett was back. He was holding on to that chair. He's like, you better back up with that, like. And then this is where Jay Lethal tried to slide on with a sliding kick. This is where Trent Beretta hits him with a striking elbow strike. But this is where Jay Lethal hit him right back. This is where he started hitting back and forth strikes. But this is where Trent Beretta won the strikes of the elbow. This is where Jay Lethal tossed him right into the former Barry barricade, right onto the barricade. But what's his name landed nice and soft, right? Not soft, I say nice and neat, more like. He landed right on the Barry barricade, nice and neat, not hitting his back very hard, like his ribs onto the right side of the ropes in the ring. This is where he intercepts Jay Lethal with a big spear right into the ringside area. This is where Trent Beretta was reeking in agony into his head. He was like, right to his head. This is where, let's see right here. This is where Sanjay. This is where what's his name? Jay Lethal this is where trying to throw Jay Lethal back in the ring, but he got distracted from behind by Sanjay Dutt, but he hit him with a striking elbow forward striking elbow right into Sanjay Dutt's face. This is where Jay Lethal picks up his legs and his waist area, try to go for like a back suplex, but he grabbed his left knee into the back, and then got his right knee right into the front and hit it right into the second hardest part of the ring, to the ring post, which looked very painfully gruesome to watch, because nobody do not deserve to get hit right in the knee like what Jay Lethal just did. And also, like, that's why they call Jay Lethal. That's why they give him that name, like what Paul White said in commentary. Like they don't call him Lethal J for nothing, because this guy is absolutely dangerous in this ring. And then this is where he rolled out in the ring. This is where Trent Beretta rolled out of the ring. This is where Jay Lethal goes back out to try to get Trent. But this is where it's like, you know what? Like, where's my time? Like, I'm gonna wait for the referee to do his count and then see if he can make it before it's the 10 count. And this is where he said something on the camera. It was like, but I don't know what he said. But let's get to the point. This is where Jay Lethal started. This is where Trent Beretta went in and Jay Lethal started grabbing onto his leg. Started absolutely annihilating his right leg that was giving him the harshing blues. And this is where but Trent Beretta came back. He got him out, threw him out of the ring. This is where he hits a big crossbody, which is the most comeback move in all sports entertainment. This is where Trent Beretta was trying to get back up, because when he tried to get up, his knee gave out and he started trying to get up, but his knee was bothering him. This is where he finally threw Jay Lethal back in the ring. This is where he tried to go for the backslide, but this is where Jay Lethal started driving on the leg, but he started striking him with his elbows. This is where he finally hits the backslide. This is where the referee counted the 1, then you have the 2, but Jay Lethal kicks out. This is where Trent Beretta hits a schoolboy roll-up, which is known as the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, surprise roll-up. The referee counted the 1, the referee counted the 2. Jay Lethal kicks out of that. This is where Jay Lethal tried to go for a clothesline, but he gets German suplex by Trent Beretta. He tried to go for a secondary suplex, but he does that too. But when he tried to go for the third one, this is where he's really having struggling trying to go for German suplex, because Jay Lethal tried to go for a counter, but which Jay Lethal finally did so. This is where he tried to grab onto his left leg, try to bend that back, and try to make it more worse than his right leg. And this is where Jay Lethal kicks him right in the backside. This is where he tried to go for the springboard cutter, but this is where Trent Beretta kicks him in the back and then hits him with a 1/2 Nelson suplex. This is where he pins Jay Lethal for a 1-2 all count, which was 2.8 seconds out. And let me tell you, like, I don't think tonight's SmackDown we've seen any close near falls up to like 2.8 counts. And it seems like AEW was the same way, except for probably the main event for AEW, because the main event matches are supposed to be the closest matches of the show, of course. But anyway, this is where Trent Beretta went for only got a 2 count. I was like, surprisingly, there was no 2.999 unless I missed one on SmackDown. But anyways, this is where Trent Beretta tried to pick up Jay Lethal. This is where Jay Lethal grabs onto his leg, trying to go for the figure 4 leg lock, which he started bending it back, his left leg, which was bending right under his bad knee. Right, he messed up right onto the ring post. This is where Trent Beretta had nowhere to go. This is where Jay Lethal had it locked in and pulling onto that bad leg and making sure he taps or gets or be out of consciousness, and he nearly did so because he's laying flat on his back and his shoulders down. The referee counted the 1, the referee nearly counted 2, but he got his shoulders up before he could count the two even. Like this is where he tried to drag himself, grabbing onto his feet or using his feet like hands to try to go reach for the ropes. This is where Jay Lethal pulls him out from even go to the ropes. Like this is where he hits him with a super kick. This is where he tried to go for the top rope, try to hit his signature move, I believe, which was the. Here we gotta go for the black machismo elbow drop, but this is where Trent Beretta tried to stop him from doing the elbow drop because he had his foot up. This is where Jay Lethal tried to go for the figure four, but this is where Trent Beretta trips him over and grab onto his legs and do a small package. The referee went 1, the referee went 2, and he nearly went 3. I was like, man, this is not like the closest. This is the closest pinfall of a near fall of the night. Like, because it was 2.99999, 0.1 away from being 3. And yeah, like, I was like, this is the only time I've actually seen it, maybe the main event. Like, but unless I missed the other matches, but like when I analyzed on SmackDown, there was not that much near falls, only up to like a 2.8 count. But this is where Trent Beretta hits a striking knee strike right onto the beam. This is where Trent Beretta hits a striking knee strike right onto Jay Lethal. This is where he was getting ready to hit a discus elbow, but this is where what's his name missed. Jay Lethal missed. This is where we try to go for a back suplex. Trent Beretta flips out of it. This is where he gets super kicked right onto that bad knee. The same knee he hits the he hit it right to the ring post. This is where he hits the springboard cutter, which he calls it the lethal injection. The lethal injection. And then that's when he got the 1, 2, 3, and he got the victory. And what's next for the former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion? Huh? Yeah, I want to share. But yeah, Uncle SNA is going to get done in a half an hour, and he will share. Oh, say cheese on the camera. Cheese. Everybody, pre-cheers for Super Ninja's nephew, Atreyu. Making his cameo appearance for the second or third time of the night. What do you think was next for the former AEW World? Do you think he's going to be the one that's going to dethrone Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor World Championship? Or do you think it's going to be somebody else in the future and he will get his opportunity, but do you think Eddie Kingston's going to retain his Ring of Honor World Championship? I'm gonna let you guys know. Let y'all be to decide down in the comments below. But this is where Ortiz said that he was talking about the proud and powerful about his time in the proud and powerful with his former best buddy Santana, and then this is where he started asking questions like. He was telling like, it's been over a decade. I was trying to repay you that favor, but every time I was standing with you, you're just standing right next to me. But you being you, you got to sit the person, and that's trying to hurt you. What you hurt you is what you hurt me, which I don't know what that means. But what Ortiz was referring to, like when he was talking about Mike Santana. This is where, speaking of which, this is where he came. It's like, oh, this is what you think of me. I'm not gonna hear you keep talking this shit. Like he's like every single week, like you're popping this shit like in his cameras. He's like, where you were at when I was in surgery for 14 months out of action, and I have not one call, not one text from you, Ortiz. And what happened the year before that? And he was like, what about that time I had to check my effing self back to when I messed up my leg on injury from last year's blood and guts match. When I had to have Santana also said, well, what happens what happened with you? Where you were at? Like this is where Ortiz said, what about the year before that? I was like, this is even though this is a serious moment, but this. Did you really have to say that? Like, this was the most goofiest wrestling of the night. Like, did you really have to say that, Ortiz? This is where Ortiz I'm gonna say to like, I had to check myself to an effing rehab where I spent 30 days facing my problems into rehab. He's like, where was you? Like you were not there for me. And then this is where Ortiz responded back like, yeah, but you weren't talking to me. I try to reach out for you, but you always ignore me. And then this is where Santino's like, you've been in front of these cameras talking shit and stuff. He's like, and this is where Ortiz is like, I'm not talking to nobody. I was trying to see what your issue. You put me down, and then this is where that's what Ortiz said. Of course, this is where Santana was like, and this is where Santana was like, you just hate yourself, and then this is where they start telling each other like, you can't stand me, and it's like, and this is where Ortiz is like, it's the truth, like you just don't want to hear the truth, and this is where this is where Santana was like. You just cannot stand me, just stand to see me win every time I'm in the match. I was like, man, like, is it just me or they look like twin brother versions of Eddie Kingston? Even though I don't think they really are twin brothers, they're just best friends. They're just both Puerto Rican. They've been a tag team for over a decade now, but they kind of remind me of Eddie Kingston if he was twin brothers. The way they were talking trash on one another, of course. But anyways, this is where he said. And then this is where Ortiz was like, yeah, it's always had to be you. It's always had to be me. And then this is where Santana was like, yeah, you damn right. It's about me. Like that's what you always been about. I've been here to take care of this team wherever you've been. And we're using me as a crutch. Like he's like, I hold you up like I always hold you up. Like that's the crutch in me. And then this is where Santana was like. This is where Santana was like, what he said right here, like. And then this is why, and this is what Santana's like, yeah, that's right. Like you did this, but I don't need you, and I don't need your crutch anymore. And this is where he walks out in the ring, and this is like this. This face-off is still continuing. I'm wondering when they're going to have their match, possibly at Full Gear, but it looks like they're going to drag this out after Full Gear, and they'll probably have one match probably on free TV, but either on Winter is Coming or New Year's Smash, and then they'll probably have their second match at Revolution. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this feud, like reality mixed with kayfabe feud between the former LAX Proud and Powerful boys, Santana and Ortiz. But anyways, let's move on to the next match, which was Emi Sakura, I believe that's her name is, Emi Sakura, taking on Sky Blue. Which that match didn't really took long at all. Like, and this was very amazing. Amazing that Sky Blue was looking important in this match. Even though Emu Sakura had the first offense to start beating Sky Blue down and leaving her putting her into a vulnerable situation, like by hitting her with chops that made Gunther envious, which you probably want to turn. He wants Sakura in his list of intergender match with, I bet. Yeah. I got probably 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, I'll be right there to take him. Just give me 10 or 15 minutes and I'll be out there. But this is where she started hitting a chop. This is where she put him right in the top right corner. This is where she tried to go for a splash, but Sky Blue hits a striking elbow, hits a super kick right into the face of Sakura. This is where she tried to clothesline. This is where Sky Blue started making more of a comeback. She grabbed her knee. She hits her with a knee strike with a lift up knee, looking like a female wrestler that loves to wear the color blue. But anyway, this is where she goes for a DDT, a striking DDT right onto Sakura. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but she gets kicked. But Sakura kicks out at 2.9 seconds. This is where she grabbed on her hand. This is where she tried to go for a dragon snap, Nelson Plex. This is where this is where Emi Sakura started the counter. She started raising her hands. She started trying to counter the Dragon Snap, the Nelson flex maneuver. This is where he started biting onto Sky Blue's hand. This is where she started screaming like, let go, like quit it. And this is where Sakura got back into the game. She hit the double underhook backbreaker right onto Sky Blue. She only got a 2.5 count. This is where the referee reminded her, 2, like you didn't got the win. This is where Sakura tried to go for an arm-dragging lock right onto Sky Blue. Like, this is where she starts stretching and bending it back, like hitting the maneuver like in the most deadliest way that you could possibly see in professional wrestling. Let's see. And then also but somehow she got out of it. This is where she finally goes on the ropes, flips onto Sakura, hits the code blue, I believe that's the name of it, and she got the 1, 2, 3. I was like, finally, Sky Blue is gaining more wins than she ever had in her career and in AEW. Like, she's finally getting recognized with the All Elite promotion, and she's not going to continue to be a glorified jobber. And what do you think? And tomorrow night she will be facing Chris Statlander for the TBS Championship. And who do you think is going to win that? I believe most of y'all are going to say Chris Statlander, which some of it probably would think Sky Blue could do an shocking underdog over Chris, the TBS champion Chris Statlander. But we're going to see tomorrow night. I'm going to recap that tomorrow night when right after it goes off, like on my SNA podcast, which make sure you check that out. Less than 24 hours from now, but yeah, they did a recap on Title Tuesday, and like with Bryan Danielson beating Swerve Strickland to earn himself an opportunity for the AEW TNT Championship. We got Hikaru Shida. We got Hikaru Shida become the new and first ever 3-time AEW Women's World Champion. We had Orange Cassidy become the first ever 2-time new international champion. But yeah, it's time for the main event because the 2 members of the Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson takes on Christian Cage for the TNT Championship. Who's going to win? Do you think Bryan Danielson is going to pull off an upset against the deceased wrestling fathers of the deceased fathers of professional wrestlers in AEW? Are you going to put off an upset on him, or do you think Christian Cage is going to retain? We're going to figure that out tomorrow, but let me know about y'all's opinions down in the comments below. This is where Claudio Castagnoli takes on Claudio Castagnoli and Willa Yuta taking on the Gates of Agony. And I'm sorry if I have to do this a bit too early, but I gotta wrap this up very soon because I have to take care of some other business after I'm done doing this video. This is where Claudio Castagnoli start off with the biggest and the baddest Gates of Agony guy. He hits him with the European uppercuts, and start fighting into a striking off. And then this is where I believe at the end of the striking fist off, this is where the big man of the Gates of Agony won. This is where the big man this is the big man Irish whips Willa Yuta right into it was the small man trying to get Willa Yuta. This is where he tried to grab on Willa Yuta and throw it to the former Barry Barricade. But this is where Willa Yuta countered because he was because the small buff man from Gates of Agony got distracted by Claudio Castagnoli. But this is where Willa Yuta chops him right to the chest. This man screaming agony. But this is where the big buff man, buff brother, hits a big devastating shoulder block that I've ever seen in professional wrestling, or shoulder tackle, I should say, right out of nowhere, making Willa Yuta do a 280 right in 4 feet in the air. This is where he starts going like, we got this in the bag. And then this is where they got back in the ring. This is where they start double teaming Willa Yuta into a double teaming heel, monstrous heel fashion, I should say. This is where it also. Oh dang it! No. In a 2-on-1 situation, like this is where, but this is where Claudio Castagnoli got tagged in and went for a huge comeback. This is where he hits his comeback move and then hits the, I think it was the neutralizing power bomb, but let's see right here. Let's see right here. This is where he tried to go for the Claudio swing. That's what, right? He went for his comeback move. This is where he tried to go for a Claudio swing to the biggest, buffest Gates of Agony guy. This is where I believe his name is just Tank or Khan. I think it was Khan, I believe. But anyway, this is where he tried to go for a swing. This is where he tried to go for a Uranagi to Castagnoli. Castagnoli hits a big elbow strike right onto him. This is where he hit the second time. This is where he hits a big, thunderous European uppercut that he has ever hit in his wrestling career, even over in his time in WWE. This is where he hits try to go for a flying flying European uppercut. This is where he kicks Claudio right into the face. The smaller, buff brother of the Gates of Agony tags himself in the match. This is where Claudio Castagnoli hits a stand-up spine buster, turned into a Claudio swing, but before he could even swing the big buffer brother of the Gates of Agony, this is where the smaller buff brother rolled him up in the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. This is where, but he only got a 2 count. This is where he tried to go for the gut buster, which he successfully executed. This is where he got 1, he got a 2, but he kicks out at 2.2 seconds. This is where the small buff brother was like, how? And this is where he tried to go for a double underhook power bomb, or was it? No, it was a double underhook face buster, WWE known as the pedigree. This is where he flips him down. This is where he tags him Wheeler Yuta. This is where he tried to go, and he went for a Claudio swing. This is where Wheeler Yuta hits a drop kick to catch him right in the air. This is where he tried to go for a pin. I was like, this is like when Cesaro used to team with Tyson Kidd, when he goes for the Cesaro swing, and then he hits a drop kick right onto his opponent's head. This is where Wheeler Yuta tried, pin the smaller buff Gates of Agony brother. This is where he got the 1, got the 2, but the big buffer brother got the save right on time before the referee can even go attempt for 3. This is where Claudio hits a striking uppercut once again. This is where Prince Nana tried to interfere with Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio rolled out of the ring. He started running, chasing him out of the arena, which was the smartest move from the former Ring of Honor World Champion and former multi-time WWE Tag Team Champion. This is where the smaller brother hits the pedigree right on the Wheeler Yuta, because Wheeler Yuta was too distracted on Claudio chasing Prince Nana out of the ring. This is where he pins him. We go 1, 2, but this is where we do get the near fall right here, where the referee counted the 1, the referee counted the 2, but Wheeler Yuta kicks out and put his shoulder up at 2.9999999, 2.999, and 0.1 away from being 3. And he was like, how the hell did he – this is where both Gates of Agony members are trying to double team, try to do a double sandwich clothesline around the Wheeler Yuta. This is where he started hitting chops and strikes right onto both brothers. This is where he repeatedly do like chop, slap, chop, slap, chop, slap. They may not be too loud for Gunther to be jealous and envious, but it was getting very hard and devastating to possibly make it to Gunther's list, because he started chopping, was just nearly bringing him down, but they were too distracted of getting slaps and chops, like slap, chop, slap, chop from the former Ring of Honor Pure Champion. And then that's where he started doing it like if he was in some kind of a ninja Japanese combat movie. But this is where This is where the bigger Buffer brother hits him with a striking claw right into Willer's throat, like ow, looking worse, deadlier than the Samoan Spike, possibly making Solo Sikoa envy of doing that maneuver, like with the hand right to the throat, like ow, like the edges of the thumb, I should say, edges of the the hand of the index, between the index and the thumb. Yeah, this is where they go for the double sandwich clothesline, which they did so, and then he got flapjack, and then this is where they hit him with the double spine power bomb, crashing his spine right into the canvas. This is where they try to go for a pin. They go for a 1 and a 2. And this is where Wheeler Yuta kicks out with another 2.999. I was like, wow. Like this in that match with Trent Beretta and Jay Lethal are the only matches that I recapped that did 2.999. I was like, what is up with that? Like it's like a day off for WWE, but it only appears like 3 or 4 times in AEW. This is where he tags in the smaller brother, the big Buffer brother. This is where he try to go for another double team finishing maneuver to try to finish him once and for all, but they were taunting with him, which I don't think that was a smart idea. But even if they weren't taunting, Claudio would probably been on his way if they successfully executed the move. And then, regardless, this is where Claudio Castagnoli came in. He came for the save for his tag partner, Willer. This is where he flips over. Oh, yeah, Antonio, I believe that's what his name is. He uppercuts Bishop Khan, I should say. That's what the small brother is. And then this is where Wheeler Yuta hits him with this Olympic back slam maneuver right onto the middle of the canvas. This is where Claudio was like, all right, it's time for our ultimate tag team finisher maneuver. Like, I'll say not ultimate, no. I'll say no. No. Like, this is where I take care of the guy in the ringside. My apologies. I was thinking about earlier. This is where he hits a sliding European uppercut, makes him flying right onto the former Barry Barricade. This is where Wheeler Yuta goes right off the top rope to get Bishop Khan. But this is where Claudio ran into the ring, lift up Wheeler Yuta right onto his feet off the top rope, hits a most devastating pin drop splash I've ever seen in professional wrestling. Pin Bishop Khan for the 1, 2, 3, and the Blackpool Combat Club members are the victors of the main event of AEW's Collision, and then that's how AEW Collision ended. And then, like I said, like a couple of days ago, I believe was on Wednesday's wrestling news video, that I said when they pre-taped this after Dynamite on Tuesday, they did break. They were doing a crab dance, like busting moves and crab dancing with Tony Khan to celebrate the owner of All Elite Wrestling's 41st birthday. And once again, I want to wish you a happy birthday once again. And hopefully you continue successfully putting on these shows for the wrestling fans as entertainment with these well-talented individuals in the squared circle. And hopefully we'll be putting more wrestling around for many more years to come. And this was a really good AEW show, even though it wasn't the best or even the greatest. But I would say it was still decently entertaining. Something that you would want to watch on a decent Friday night like tonight, and just want to relax. And yeah, and AEW did not disappoint on that side of things. But still, I would give it 3 stars out of 5. But how would y'all rate AEW's Collision? Like, I'm not Collision, AEW's Rampage tonight. If y'all were doing a review tonight, y'all let me know down in the comments below. And I would say this was the match of the night: the Gates of Agony taking on the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all to be the judge of. I'm gonna let y'all to be the judge of what y'all think about my review for AEW's Rampage show, and I believe I believe this was a very, like I said, a very decent show, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And what do you thought about AEW Dynamite? Well, not AEW, AEW Rampage tonight. Y'all let me know down in the comments below, and let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please make sure you hit a huge thumbs up on this video. Comment down below, like I said, and subscribe. Click the bell notification if you haven't done that already, so you can be notified when I make my next video. And whenever it be whether if it's my wrestling news or even wrestling show review. And I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was the 71st episode of the SNA podcast, the AEW Rampage review. And tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing my 72nd episode of the SNA podcast, AEW Collision Part 9. Make sure y'all check that out. And I hope y'all have a great night, and I'll see you guys then. But in the meantime, Super Ninja Austin the Assassin is out.